grab a drink. We have a long one today. For today's video, I have pulled 28 products that I have been thoroughly testing, and I feel comfortable sharing with you my final opinion on these. Some of these are newer, but some of these have been in my drawer for months. If you don't know, every single makeup product that I try goes in my makeup vanity, and it stays in there until I've tested it enough and feel confident giving you a review in these speed reviews. And after I put them in this video, then they go to the general population. So yeah, sometimes if a product isn't something that I'm reaching for often, it could sit in the drawer for months and it will continue to sit there until I test it out, because that is kind of my promise with my channel, is you will hear back after I've played with it more. So let's go ahead and get into it, because we have 28 items today. We did have some mishaps on the face. I don't love all of these products, so my makeup is not my favorite today, but let's get into it. Starting off with Complexion. So first thing, this is actually a newer product, but I already know how I feel about this. This is the e.l.f. Sun Touchable Whoa Glow 30 SPF Sun Protection and Makeup Primer. This was made to be a dupe for the Supergoop Glow Screen. I did do actually a short where you saw them side by side. I do prefer the Supergoop, but for the price difference, this is a great pickup. It's a great alternative. It actually has less of a metallic finish, so I think it's even better for oily skin types. It's a little bit harder to absorb into the skin as well, so that's why I do prefer the Supergoop, but I think for the price point, this is fantastic. Had I not tried the Supergoop, I would really love this, so I definitely recommend it. It adds a nice glow to the skin. It primes well. I would recommend still putting a normal SPF on before this, just for optimal protection, but love this. I have a primer from L'Oreal. This is the Redness Eraser Primer from their Prime Lab collection. This just isn't a product I'm going to use very often. It does leave a very subtle green tint. So I do have redness, but it isn't a major struggle of mine. A little bit of foundation and it's good. But if you do have a lot of redness, I think that this is nice, because I do notice the green tint and I do like the way that it makes my face feel. So if redness is a major concern of yours, this might be a good one to try to kind of help neutralize it, and it feels very nice on the skin. But after I put this in the drawer, it's not going to be something that I'll reach for a ton. Next product is from Lawless. This is the Set the Stage Hydrating Soothing Primer Serum. This is awful. I can't even put it on my face, because every single foundation that I've worn over top of this peels off because of this product. This completely ruins my complexion 100% of the time. I've had to redo my makeup, so this is not it for me. Don't recommend it. I have one foundation from Iconic London. This is a super smoother blurring skin tint. I really like this. I do find though that when I apply too much, it can look a little makeup-y, but whenever I just put a little bit on, it's a great everyday foundation. It wears pretty decent. It's not at the top of my list of my favorites, but it is a nice one, and I've heard a lot of you guys really enjoy this, and I can see why. I feel like it does have a nice smoothing slash blurring aspect to the skin, so this is a nice like everyday foundation, but it doesn't agree with all makeup products. I find that sometimes the wear time can be inconsistent on this, so it's not perfect every time, but generally speaking, I do enjoy this. I would say it has like a medium light coverage. It does have more of a semi-matte finish, which helps it look a little bit more smooth, in case you needed to know that. For concealer, the first formulation that I have is from Bare Minerals. This is one of the items that has been sitting in my drawer for a couple of months before I finally got to it, because it's not a product that excites me, but these are the Complexion Rescue Brightening Concealers. I honestly don't recommend these. I don't know if they've always been this way or since I've had them for a few months in the drawer. They started to get quite grainy. Literally, the consistency is grainy, and when I put it on my under eyes, it looks grainy as well. If it weren't grainy, I would like this, because it is like a nice lightweight concealer, but the grains, they even separate on my under eyes. Not very nice. So because of that, regardless if it starts off grainy or not, it becomes grainy and it's not very nice, and I can't even blend them out. It's weird because like when I do blend it out on the under eyes, I can see the graininess, but then I kind of pat it with a sponge and the grains kind of disappear, but then they come back. So no. These are counting as 2 products, but they're both from the Natasha Denona High Glam concealer line. Ooh. So we have the color corrector, which is the same formulation, just with a peachier undertone, and then the regular concealer. These are phenomenal. I haven't seen anybody say a bad thing about these, even those with mature under eyes, because it gives a good amount of coverage, but it's very hydrating on the under eyes. She really stepped it up with this concealer because the concealer in her line before this was not good at all. I love these. These are a new favorite concealer. Definitely, I would say probably in the top 5 of great concealers. She killed it. Medium to full coverage, hydrating finish, doesn't dry down and can crease a little bit, but it's not bad at all. And it's very flattering the way that it wears, so it never looks super dry or cakey or anything on the under eyes. I'm excited to give an update on these Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Bronzers. I did not like the moisturizer blushes. I enjoy the bronzers a lot more. Now, I don't think these are perfect. Sometimes I find they can look a little patchy or unblended on my face if I let it dry down too quickly. But for the most part, when I work fast, I really do enjoy these so much better than the blushes. So I do feel like it was a slight redemption story. That being said, if we walk into Sephora and you're looking for a cream / liquid bronzer, this is not the one that I'm going to point you towards. But since I have it, it's fine, but it definitely does not stand out. But I have been enjoying using it though, I'm not gonna lie. And then I do have a liquid blush. So I actually have a lot of blushes that I need to put in speed reviews. So I got some out of my drawers, the ones that I had the most of because they were taking up the most space, so that I can put them where they belong. But the next speed reviews is going to have a lot of blush formulas. If you're curious about my blush reviews, I did just post a whole rankings video of all of the new blush formulas, so some of these you're going to recognize from those videos, like the Juvia's Place blushed liquid blushers. These are stunning. They are more expensive than I thought. They're $18, but they really are very nice formula. They work like a luxury blush formula. I can even get this guy to work for me, but they are quite pigmented, so if you have a deeper complexion, this could still work for you. This is such a great formula because while they are pigmented, they're very easy to work out. So as long as I use it sparingly, I love every single color. Today, I believe I'm wearing Soft Tulip on the cheek. Very creamy, beautiful colors, great color range, great versatility. These are definitely a liquid blush formula that I recommend. We have 3 palettes from Hourglass to get through that I've been playing with. So this one sold out pretty quickly. This is the Lighting Edit Sculpt and Set. I love the premise of this. Even though I love my Hourglass blushes, I love that we have bronzing shades, a couple of sculpting, one sculpting shade, a couple of setting powders, and a highlight. I like having these all available in one palette, and then I can go into the blush of my dreams that is needed to complete a look. I like, you know, that I can pick the perfect blush. I don't feel indebted to using the blush in this palette. But yeah, I do like this for sculpting, bronzing, highlighting the face. I used it today in a couple of different ways over top of my liquid bronzer. I used a setting powder in here just to add a final finish to the face. And then I used one of the highlights as well. This hair, was it bothering you the whole time? Oh my gosh. Not my day today. But anyways, I really, really like this. This doesn't have any new shades, but I love the curation of this. Unfortunately, can't get it anymore. We also have this one, which is still available, the Blush and Glow. This one was not as exciting to me because just like the other one, there is no new shades, but I had most of these anyways. That being said though, really nice colors. I feel like the blushes were a little too close to one another, but other than that, I mean, I love the Hourglass powder formulation, so I don't mind either way. It's a very nice quality palette. It's just a question of, will you use these colors? And I will use these colors, so I've liked this. I wish there was more variety in the blushes, and I do feel like I could have used a bronzer or something in here to get the most out of picking up this palette, but it's fine, but it doesn't stand out. But I cannot knock the quality. And then the last Hourglass palette that I have is from, well, it's called the Lighting Edit Diffused Rose Edit. Now, this one I don't really recommend, not because the quality is bad. It's great, of course, but you get more product in each pan, but this is quite expensive. The best value is going to be the 6 pan. The these two prices are not far off, but you get 6 shades as opposed to 3. And honestly, like, these are fine. This is like a normal rosy blush, a highlight, and a setting powder. I've reached for this, but I've never been inclined to reach for. I've always used it because it was in my speed reviews drawer, and I was like, I need to review this eventually. But if I didn't need to review this, I wouldn't reach for this leisurely. I like the 6 panners a lot better. You're limited in color choices there. Okay, let's go into a couple powder blushes. I specifically chose these because they were taking up so much space in my drawer because I have all of the shades, volumes 1 through 6 of the Juvia's Place Blush Rouge duos. So the formula in here is very nice. It's a complete matte formulation, which I feel like kind of blurs the cheek. Not inclined to reach for these either. I like the formula of these, but not inclined because the packaging I feel like is very chunk, and then you only get 2 shades and they're huge, and I just don't find it necessary. And the shades, you know, there's only a couple in here that I really like volume 2 is nice, but I'm not in love with the shade range. However, I cannot knock the formula, and I can definitely see myself using these in the future. This is volume 4. But there are a lot of other blush products out there that excite me more. That being said though, formula-wise, these are very well done, and just like Juvia's Place does, really great color range here. Okay, this is why I wanted to get these out of here. So Essence launched the Pure Nude Baked Blushes. I got sent all 8 shades, but I've been struggling with these, putting them out on my desk because you can't stack them on one another. So storing these is an issue. But let's talk about the formulation. Overall, this is like one of the best affordable new blush options available. However, there are pros and there are cons. So all of these are gorgeous, but a lot of them have different levels of finish and shimmer. So I would definitely recommend looking through some swatches to see which ones your favorites are, because I love some of these on the cheeks, and then others just, some are more sheer and leave behind a stronger shimmer than I would like. Some of them are very pigmented. This shade right here is the one I would not recommend, Goldie Cassis, if you have my skin tone. This made me look punched right in the face, and a lot of the shades are kind of close to one another, so you don't need all 8. But that being said, if you pick up 1 or 2 shades that you like, you will love these for $5. These leave behind a very pretty sheer finish to the cheek. There's one shade in here that I don't even know what the name is. There's so many. It's very light, the lightest shade, number 1. Not Pink Flush. It might be Pink Flush. Well, if it's not Pink Flush, it looks like Pink Flush, because like I said, a lot of these are close to one another. Pink Flush, the base pigment, does not show up on me, but I actually really like it because I like to use sometimes a cream or liquid blush first, and then this is perfect to set it, but also add a little bit of extra shimmer. So, you know, different purposes, versatility-wise, inconsistent performance, because they do each kind of have a different formulation slash finish, but great for $5. Very happy with those. And then I have this one from a indie brand, Marilia Scott Cosmetics. I actually follow her on Instagram, and this is the Your Highlight is Too Bright palette. She always says that these are the most blinding highlights on the market. They do contain some glitter, so if you do not like glitter, these are not for you. I haven't reached for these very much because 1, I don't like glitter, and 2, these are kind of out there colors. I do believe she's coming out with a neutral version of this, which is a little bit more up my alley. I'm always reaching for peaches and popcorn because that's the most neutral. It is very pretty, but if you do have texture, this will emphasize it. But if you do like the bright shades, this is nice, pretty reflective, has those glitters, but also is very gorgeous on the eyes. I'm very curious about the neutral one. I think this formula for me would be great in neutral tones. Okay, this absolutely ruined my makeup. From Lottie London, we have this Stay Matte AF setting spray. This leaves little white dots everywhere. All in my face, all in my hair. I have to go in with water afterwards just to get the white dots off my face. And those are what's supposed to like suck the moisture out of my skin to make the makeup matte and dry. But yeah, ruined my makeup. Do not buy this. Don't recommend it. Lottie London. Lottie London is one of those brands where I don't like most of what they come out with. Sometimes they'll have a random banger, but for the most part, they don't do it for me. And then, okay, I have a new eyebrow gel from Ardell. This is the Brow Glue Instant Lift Lamination. I got absolutely roasted and toasted in one of the shorts I did showing this off because I hadn't trimmed my eyebrows. So I looked electrocuted. But they're trimmed now. And I do have this in, and you can see my brows are not going anywhere. This is great to get that lifted, laminated effect. And it holds throughout the day, which is not what very many eyebrow gels do for my stubborn eyebrows. So yeah, this is one of my new favorite brow gels. I know it's so random. It's from Ardell. Like, don't they only do lashes? Nah. They got a killer brow gel as well. This lasts all day. I love it. And then this one is from About Face. We have the Smoothing Shadow Fix Eye Primer, and this is anything but smoothing, unfortunately. I wanted to like this. I convinced myself for a little bit that I did, but then I just realized it makes my eyelids look really dry and breaks up if I had any leftover concealer or something on my eyelid. This just breaks it up. I always have to go over with a sponge to kind of get it out. But you'll see there's some like dryness on the inner corner right here. That is from the primer. So this unsmooths my eyelid, unfortunately. So I'm not a fan of this. There's a lot of misses in this video. Okay, let's get into the eyeliners. So I have these from L'Oreal. These are the Infallible Grip Gel Mechanical Liners. I initially thought I didn't like these, but I've been reaching for these so much. They've just come in handy. I used it in a weird way today that I don't really recommend, that I never use them as, but I did use the shade Turquoise all over my lid for my base color. But then you'll see also I use the navy color Blue Jersey. This is fine for adding eyeliner. It's not my favorite gel liner whatever at all, because it is hard to get a defined line with these. They just are very smudgy looking on the eyelid. They have a little bit of drag as well, but I mean, they're fine. They get the job done. If you need a smudge of brown on the eyelid, these last okay. They can fade a little bit, so they're not the latest and greatest, that's for sure, but they do have some great colors, so they've come in handy. But I'm not reaching for these over some of my favorite eyeliners. I have these, I have one of them on my eyelid. I finally have been playing around with the ColourPop Chrome Liquid Eyeshadows. Now, specifically, the only ones I've opened are from the Legend of Korra collection. Today, on my eyelid, I'm wearing Fire. That's why I put the eyeliner down first. I don't love these. I feel like you can get a much better rendition of these through indie brands. I know that these are more affordable, and honestly they're so tiny, cute, and adorable, but they shear out a little bit too much with the finger. But if you do apply a thicker layer because you want the true color, then they can get a little globby and crusty and creasy. So they're not the best formulation I've played with. Indie is the way to go. Pay that extra amount of money, but they're okay. You know, when I do spread it thin, if you like the way that it looks spread thin, you'll be fine. They last a good amount of time. They don't crease this way, but you definitely are going to want a base shadow underneath. Something more dramatic than what I did today. What I should have done is gone down with a powder shadow first that had more pigment, but I did what I had to do today, so they're fine. Don't love them though. And then also from the Legend of Korra collection, you can see I am really unpacking things that I've had for a while. We have the ColourPop Graphics Inks liners in Heart to Heart and Kurosami. Now, these are great to get unique colors of liquid liners that you don't want to spend a lot of money on, you know. Maybe you just need a specific color. ColourPop has you down. Not an all-time favorite formula, but they get the job done. Like, if you need a random baby blue liquid liner, you can get that line down with the ColourPop. Don't layer them too much over themselves because it will feel a little heavy, thick, and tight. But they're fine. They're a fine liquid liner, especially for the price point. Okay, now eyelashes. So I have this mascara from LYS Lash Confidence. I do not like this mascara. It did not work out for me. The wand is much too big to really touch all of my lashes, especially my lower lashes, since they're very, very small. This mascara is very wet. It takes a long time to dry down, so I find a ton of transfer until it's dried down, and it doesn't really build up on my lashes very nice either. So fortunately, I just smacked myself in the face. Another reason not to like you, but no, I'm unfortunately not a fan at all of this mascara. Okay, we are on to the lip portion of the video. I have quite a few formulas, so we'll start off with this from e.l.f. with their collaboration with American Eagle. This is the Perfect Fit Lip Balm. It looked questionable from the jump, right? It's blue, but it's supposed to do that pH balance thing, whatever. If you put a thin layer down, it does add kind of like a nice pink tint, but the second I like go in for the second time, you can see that layer of blue. It looks a little frostbitey. So honestly, this feels nice, but the blue is just not flattering. It's a cheap lip balm, whatever. No harm, no foul, but it does leave that blue residue look kind of on the lips. It's not very cute. I've already talked about this, but I was corrected in how to use it, so I wanted to update you on the Rephr Lip Sculpt. I always thought the packaging was kind of chunky, and now I know why. So originally, I liked applying this lip liner, but it did not last at all. You're supposed to set it with this thing, and I'm not gonna lie, this does help the lip liner last longer, but it's an extra step I don't want to take, and I feel like it makes the lips kind of globby. I almost have to wait for it to set down, so while it does make the lip liner last longer, I don't like having to set it. I don't got time for that, so it's okay. I have these High Vibe lipsticks from Laura Mercier. Is that what they're called? High Vibe? Yes. So these feel great. I love the application of these, but this line has almost like a metallic finish. So if that's not your jam, you're not going to like these, especially with the lighter shades. I do find with that metallic finish, it just makes my lips look kind of wrinkly. So these feel great. They apply great. If you like that metallic finish, you might like this, but I was just not expecting that. They have a really nice color range in this. Love the application, but unfortunately, I'm not a fan of that metallic finish, but that's just personal preference. And then I have a ton of lipsticks. I don't know why these have been sitting in my drawer for so long, because I use these all the time. I think that's almost why I left it in the drawer, because I just wanted to have these in easy access, but the whole range of the e.l.f. lipsticks, these are one of the best pickups you can have in terms of a bullet lipstick on the drugstore market. They have a great color range, very comfortable. They have like a satin matte finish to them. They have a nice level of pigment. They are on the more, I guess, expensive side of the drugstore lipsticks, but totally worth it. I feel like the packaging feels very luxe for what it is. Definitely a nice little drugstore splurge, if you will. I have feeling myself on the lips now. Could benefit from a gloss, I guess, if you wanted to, but very comfortable. I think they're very high quality. I would say, you know, if we did walk into a drugstore and you're like, I need to pick out a couple lipsticks, I would direct you towards these e.l.f. lipsticks because they're very, very nice. And they even have like a cheaper formula that's nice as well. So e.l.f. is just good with lipsticks. A little sore right here. Then the last two formulas, these have been sitting in my drawer. I haven't been reaching for them a lot because they're bolder colors. But I did one day try this Kaleidos Cloud Lab Lip Clay in Rose Fire. It's a pretty deep, kind of like vibrant rose. I love this formula from Kaleidos. This is not a shade that I've reached for very often, which is why it has maintained its status in my drawer for a while. But I did use it a couple days ago, and since I love this formula, it's great, and it's a nice, great bold lip, but they do obviously have a lot of other colors. And then lastly, I have these Fresh Kiss lip creams from ColourPop, also from the Legend of Korra collection. You can probably guess I've reached for this shade more than I have for this shade, but this is a nice formula from ColourPop. It's very comfortable, a little drying, but nothing too bothersome. It is a lip cream. Now, these are great to keep in your purse. If you lose them, it's not that big of a deal. So I do like this formula from ColourPop overall for just a quick pop on the lips. Not as long lasting as I would probably like, but still very nice nonetheless, especially for the price point. Hoi, yoi, yoi. 28 products done. Under 28 minutes, girl. Whew, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the speed reviews and my little update, or big update, on all of these products. Stay tuned because my next drawer is already pretty full, mostly with blushes. So many blushes have launched. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you're curious about any of these products with a little bit more depth, there's a high likelihood that I've probably put it in a trying new makeup. A lot of these have gotten like whole dedicated reviews on, and this is just me coming back after having tested these for a bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. Make sure you subscribe because I do these every week or couple of weeks as I accumulate enough products. I'm just talking to talk right now, so I'm gonna let you go. Bye guys, have a good one.